Hello everyone, welcome back to SFDC Panther. My name is Amit Singh, and in this video we are going to talk about what are login flows. So the previous video we have talked about how to display the toast notifications. Now let's quickly take this flow into the advanced level where we are going to talk about how these flows are going to play a key role in your identity things. So basically again login flows are used to customize your business process where you can have an intermediate screen once your user is logging into Salesforce. So what happens, for an example, let's say that your user login into Salesforce, then you have a flow. After login you have a flow. There will be a screen where you might wanted to ask some additional questions, like you want to ask them to verify their email, you wanted to ask them to verify their phone number, or you might wanted to have some sort of custom mechanism there, like we have generated the OTP in the previous videos. You might wanted to get that, send the OTP to the user to their email, and then once they provide the OTP, then only they can log into Salesforce. Or they can also provide some additional information, like they wanted to what their title is, what is their address, that kind of information we can ask them before they actually get into Salesforce. Okay, these are some use cases, a few use cases that we have, like we can customize the login experience by adding a logo or login message. We can also add this into the Salesforce login before they actually get into Salesforce. We can collect and update the user data such as email address, phone numbers, or mailing address. This is what we have already discussed. We can also interact with the users and we can ask them few questions that we wanted to perform. For example, you have customer community users. You can ask them either they wanted to receive some email, promotional email, communication email messages or not, and you can store that information inside Salesforce. And then that is something which you are going to leverage in order to send the communication emails. Then you can also have some identity services like geofencing services, or we can collect some information to verify. We can also use that we have talked about, like custom OTP. We are going to talk in the coming videos. Again, these are some other use cases, like there were a few that we have listed here. Then some of the use cases are here, like we can enforce a strong authentication. Strong authentications, like Salesforce is again enforcing for two-factor authentication. We can implement multiple factor authentication, like user login. They have to click on that allow from the application. They can also actually provide, we also send a notification which is a OTP and then provide the access. They provide the OTP there in the flow. Once they click OK, then if OTP is valid, then only we let them to log in. Okay, so that is basically how we actually are going to do this. We can also some confirmation process we can do, like secret questions. Sometimes what you have seen is whenever you are trying to log in into some system, they actually ask some questions like what is the question and what is the answer. You can also have those, and many more use cases are there. So basically these are some of the use cases which I have put over here, and you might get multiple use cases while working with login flows. So these are the login flow inputs, right? So whenever we create a flow, first thing, login flows or screen flows. These are not other type of flows. These are screen flows. So we have to create a screen flow, then we have to create a login flow. Basically we need to define that this flow is going to work as a login flow. And while we are working with a screen flow, there are multiple inputs that we actually have to create. For example, what is the login type? So login flow _ is the, we say that something which we have to put for each variable which are predefined provided by Salesforce. IP address from where user is login, what is the user agent, what the platform is, what is the application, either they are logging to community, what kind of session label is, what is the user ID. Then finish location is of type text, force logout is of type boolean, right? So finish location is something you can provide what URL you wanted to navigate the user to, and force logout is a boolean variable. So say that if the user enters OTP 3 times the incorrect OTP, then what we can do is we can force logout. We can set this variable force logout to true and user will be logged out, right? So these are some of the variables, very important variables that we are going to use in our videos. In this video we are going to talk about this login flow underscore user ID underscore user ID. This is the variable we are going to use in this particular video, and rest of the video I will request you to go ahead create these rest of the variables, go ahead create these variables and print those inside screen flow. I will show you how you can actually print. Don't work with this force logout, you can work with this finish location as well. Okay, now let's quickly see how actually it works. So login flow always works when the user has already logged in with their username and password. So when you try to log in into Salesforce, you provide the correct username and password. If the login is success, then only this login flow is going to work. What could be like, this could be login flow, take input, take phone input, right? You've got this mobile phone, business phone, and go to Salesforce. This is the button that we can say there. If this is correct, then only they can go to other business, which is Salesforce. So that is how it works. So you need to make sure that it will always work, the login flow will always work when the login is success. If login will not success, login flow will not work. There is one good example I have also recalled. Remember when you try to log in Salesforce, sometimes you get the maintenance window by Salesforce. They say, okay, by these days, this time there will be maintenance window, you won't be able to access Salesforce, or you won't be able to perform this kind of task. Those kind of things also we can do with the help of login flow. So now we have talked about what flow is, what are use cases, how actually it executes. Let's quickly see this in action. So this is our Salesforce org, right? What we have to do is, first we have to go to the flow. You already know, like basically how we create the screen flow, because we have already talked about multiple videos related to flows. Now as we are here, we know that we just need to search for flows and then click this flows under process automation. Click on this new flow button, and this will, again, you already know, this is going to open a new tab where we need to select the type of flow. So the type of flow will be screen flow, because that is, we talked about login flows are always type of screen flows. So let's go ahead and select this screen flow. Now here what we have to do is, first thing we need to create a resource. What resource we need? Login flow user ID. So how we will select variable, and what will be the name? It will be exact same name, login flow underscore user ID. This is what we need to have as a variable. Now data type, it is going to be a type of text. Okay, the value cannot start with and cannot have two more. Okay, I think this is only login underscore user ID. Okay, login flow underscore user ID. Available for input, make sure that it is available for input. Go ahead and click on done. We have got this user ID. Then what we need to do is click on plus icon. We need to get the user information. So let's go ahead and click on get records, and we will say that get logged in user. Now we have got this get logged in user information. Object, what it is? It is user, like the object is user. So we need to select our object as a user. Yes, we need to put a filter. So we will say that ID, for the field we will select ID. Operator will be equal. Value will be the variable that we have just created, login flow underscore user ID. This is the variable that we have just got, right? Once we have got the user, before we actually get that, I will show you how you print the information. So just go ahead and select this screen, and you can say that flow information, and here what you have to do is display text, and you can say flow inputs. And here what you have to do is, you can say, okay, you wanted to display user ID. So select user ID, insert resource, and select whatever the variable you have created. This is how you will be displaying. You already know, but I have again just reiterated this. Now we have got this. Next thing what we will do is, we will have a screen over here, and under that screen what we will say that is phone information. Okay, or let's say that user information. Here we will have some input. One will be phone. Okay, so let's quickly have one phone. Then we'll be having one email, and above that what we will have is, we will have a display text, and we will drag and drop on top of phone, and we will say that message. And here what we will say is, please verify your phone and email information. Okay, so that's what we have to do. or we say that please verify, instead of we will say that please provide your phone and email information. Now we have got this. Now we've got phone. Let's quickly make this as this is going to be phone. What will be the first thing, it will be required, so we need to make sure that it is true. Then what will be the value? So if there is already phone inside user record, we will display that. So we will select the query things and then we will select phone. So whatever we have queried from the user, we are going to put as a value. And then similarly email, we will provide email, it is going to be required as true. Okay, and value again we will get from the query, so that there is record single variable called user from get login user information, and we will select email. You might also have multiple things like some address, title, or some check boxes which says the consent about these things from the user. Okay, so we have got this, and we will select configure header. We will say don't, yeah, it will definitely say the header and footer, and click on done. Once user provide this, what we have to do is let's quickly go ahead and before that we do anything, save our progress. So we will say that user information, provide your information. This is the name of our flow. I'm just going to save this. Now once we've got this user information, we need to update this user record. So we'll go ahead, click on plus icon, and then we will go there and say, we will say update records. Now you can give it a label like update user record. We will say okay, specify conditions to identify the records. We will say yes, specify, and we will select we wanted to update user. So we will select user. From there what user we are going to update is, we will put a condition of ID. So we already have an ID field. For operator we will select equal, and the value we will again select from the variable that we have called login flow user ID. Now what values we need to update? One is phone. Okay, that is the first field that we need to update, phone. And then the second field that we need to update is, which is email. Now here for phone, what value we have to do is, we have the component which is phone from the screen flow, and whatever the value we have got, we have to do that. And similarly we have got email component in the screens, and value is the value that we wanted to have, and then go ahead and click on done. Okay, we have done this update. Now there is a trick. Login flow, there is a variable like we had seen in the previous video, previous screens, which is login flow underscore finish location, where we wanted to navigate to user. So what we can do is, we can go ahead and create one more resource, and we will say variable login flow underscore finish location is the API name, data type is again text, and value is input, available for input. Okay, we click on done. Now we will just go ahead and say okay, here we will add an assignment so that user can navigate to the particular URL. So we will say okay, assignment, and we will say that finish location. Set finish location, what value we wanted to have. So we are just going to find out our variable login flow finish location equals what value we wanted to assign is. Let's quickly go to the account homepage and just putting a random URL, right? You might have some other URL that you wanted to navigate to, or I can open some record. I just wanted to see if the user will be redirected over here or not. So I'll just provide the value as this is a text variable, so I can provide any value, and I will go ahead and click on done and go ahead and save this. Okay, now we have got this information. This is your flow, which is very simple flow that we have done. Go ahead and activate this. Now the flow is ready. We have activated this. We need to prepare a login screen. How we will do that? Get back to the screen and here search for login. You will see something under identity which is login flows. So just select that, and here what we have to do is you have to create. I might have, I might not have. So we will see if there are already login flow. We see there is nothing. So we have to go ahead, click on that new button, and here what is the type? Either it is a flow or Visualforce page. So we have a flow. We will select flow. What is the name? So we can give it a name, say that user information. Now here which flow we wanted to have. So we have what is the flow name? Provide username. Okay, provide your information. So this is the flow that we have. Now user license, here we have to provide for which user this login flow will work. You can have multiple login flows, and based on the user license you can have for every profile, even you can have multiple different login flow. So if I select user license as Salesforce, and then I have to select profile, which profile I wanted to have. So if you have different profile, for different profile you can have different login flows, and to create different login flows you must create different flow. So I will select this is going to be system administrator, because this is my profile, and it says that render flow in lightning runtime. We will say yes, make sure that it is checked, go ahead and save this. So now we have created a login flow. Earlier we created a simple screen flow, now we created a login flow. Now in order to use any screen, if you want to use any screen flow, you can use as a login flow. There is no as such things like you cannot use, right? Now there might be one question where people might ask, can we create two flow for the same profile, two login flow for the same profile? So this is one flow which is for user information. We might want it to display some other flow, right? So let's see if that works, or if Git gives you the error. So we'll select flow and we will say a case flow, something, just putting some random flow name, and I'm just giving a name over here. Say, let's say check case status is our flow which we have developed in previous videos. User license is again going to be Salesforce, and profile I will select system administrator and save this. So what it says that duplicate value, right? So we cannot have two record flows, like two login flows for the same profile. There should be only one login flow for one particular profile. Now we are done with this login flow. Login flow is there, screen flow is there. How to test this? To test this, I have to log in my log out from my Salesforce. I'll just go ahead and do the logout. So I'm here, I'm logged out. I will again select this username. Okay, it is asking me to log in. Now there is already the password for this username. I will go ahead and click on login. So now you see, after login, then login flow will come into the picture. Now you see here, we are logged in. This is our username, and it says that there is something called logout button, right? Now we have got this user ID. You see, that is how we get the user ID. That is how we get the various variables. This is the exact user ID which I'm logged in. I'm go ahead and click on next. Once you click on next, if there are further screens, right, we have further screens. You see, email is already populated, but the phone is not populated, right? So we have to provide our name and email information. So to do that, what we will do is, I'll just go ahead and provide my phone number over here. And so I've just provided the phone number. If I click on next, it is going to update. Okay, and you remember what we did is, basically we have we just click on next, and you see here we are inside Salesforce environment. Like the finish location is not working. I had to look into this, why that's not working, but the login flow is working perfectly fine. Now if you wanted to verify if the flow has worked or not, what you can do is, you go to your profile. Okay, click on your picture if you already have a picture. If not, you might see the astro icon over here. Then click on this settings, and you see here this is the phone which I have provided, the same phone which I have provided. Now again, if you wanted to, you can just go ahead and click on log out over here, and then again we can try to log in, and this time once we see that screen, we will see both email and phone are being populated automatically, right? Now then you might be asking, if there is already information, why to show that flow? In that case, you can put some if else in your flow. I'll tell you how to put that. So just go ahead and click on next for now. So once you see here the phone is already there, and click on next. Now if you already have that information, you can check if phone and email both are present. You can just directly navigate to the finish location, to this assignment. Otherwise you can ask ask them what the email or the phone is, update that, and then go to the finish location, right? So this is how basically a simple login flow works. I have asked, like I have shown you how to get the input from the user. You might wanted to have a simple screen flow just to show the maintenance news, like there is going to be some maintenance or something else that you wanted to have. In the coming videos, we will talk about how actually we can use the OTP, that OTP we have generated in the previous video, how we can use that to add an additional layer of security in our Salesforce login. So that's it for this video. Thank you for your time, and before you go ahead, please do like, share, subscribe the channel, and also there is a new channel which we have recently started. Subscribe that as well, and we will meet into the next video. Thank you.